Good morning, sixth graders. I hope everybody is doing awesome today. We're going to go ahead and dive right in because as it's Monday, we do have even less time than usual. All right, so our book talk today, come on, is called March, Book 1, because there are 3 of them. This letter was written by John Lewis, who actually passed away over the summer. He was like, I think 80, but he was one of the original people that fought hard during the civil rights movement for equal rights for African Americans. And this is a graphic novel that explains his journey. So 2 things. Right now, you might notice that there's been a lot of protesting and things like that going on to protest the way African Americans are sometimes treated in our country. And so these are the early days of John Lewis and the early days of the civil rights movement. So it's a lot having what went on, or the early roots of what happened back then are in this book. And again, John Lewis was an amazing civil rights leader. And so his legacy lives on in this book. So if you're interested at all in the early civil rights movement, that's a great book for you, and it's a graphic novel too. So it's nonfiction graphic novel, not something you see every day. Okay, so looking at our planner this week, right in here, we see that we have an overview of the writing process, and we're going to be planning out our story. So we have read several narrative short stories since school started, and so now you're going to get to write your own narrative using a lot of the skills that we've learned so far. So today I'm just going to kind of introduce something, and then you are going to go into Otis, and there's a worksheet there called Gathering Ideas. So you're going to fill that out. That is due by tomorrow, so it's due tonight really, unless you get up early and work on it, but it's due by tomorrow at class time. Okay, because we're going to go pretty fast with this. It's going to be like a 2-week process so that I have time to grade it before the end of the trimester. Okay, so we're going to be working on a personal narrative. So a narrative is a story, and a personal narrative is a story that happened to you. So over the next 2 weeks, you will be writing a personal narrative about an event from your life. You will work your way through the writing process and use the strategies we've been working on this year. So here's an overview of the writing process. Okay, so first you have your planning and pre-writing, and we're going to be working on that a lot this week. That's what we're mostly going to be working on. That's where you brainstorm your ideas, you plan your writing using the incident response reflection structure. So that's what we are going to be thinking about is using that IRR structure. So something happened, you responded to it, and then you reflected upon it or learned some sort of lesson. Drafting is when you write your narrative with an effective beginning, middle, and an end, and including interesting details. Editing and revising, you're adding words and phrases and sentences and ideas to enhance your writing. You're checking for correct grammar and spelling. You're basically making it, and capitalization, as perfect as you can. And then the final draft is your completed narrative. It's something that you have put a lot of time into, and it should be something that you are proud of. So planning and previewing, this is what we're getting started with today. So gathering ideas for your personal narrative will be easier than you think. After all, the subject you know the most about is you. In fact, you are the leading expert. So begin by thinking of events that are hard to forget or are important to you, even in a small way. So those are those little moments in life that you remember, that stand out, that you feel like you will always remember. Your personal narrative does not need to be about a major life-changing event. Sometimes the best personal narratives are about experiences that begin and end quickly. And then right here, it says, we want the seed, not the watermelons. I'm going to show you this really quick. You want a seed idea. You want one little thing that happened. So for example, I think I told you guys before, I have a 3rd grade son too, and he was having to write a seed idea. And I was trying to help him, he really dislikes writing, to think of an idea, okay, of what he could write about. So this was when school was first starting. So we had just gotten back from Tahoe. So he's like, I want to write about Tahoe. I'm like, well, that was like 4 days long. That's too long. You need to write about a specific thing. What's something in Tahoe that was really special to you? Okay, so finally he wrote it about this ice cream sandwich place we went to, and he really described the ice cream sandwiches and what he got and how long we had to wait in line and all of these things. So a seed story is a small and specific idea focusing on one event. So these are watermelon ideas. The first one is my week-long vacation to the beach. You don't want to just tell us all like, first we did this, then we did this. That's not really bringing a narrative alive. That's just kind of listing things that you did, okay? Or even the first time I went on a plane. That one is a little bit smaller, but it's still, there's a lot going on there, okay? But some seed ideas, special moments, okay? Opening my favorite birthday present from last year, or when I spilled my coffee on my Monday morning. Okay, those are seed ideas. Those are little things that happened, but that we can really go into detail and talk a lot about. Okay, so that's what you're going to be thinking of when you are filling out your idea paper today. Okay, so gathering ideas. Think about the prompt below. Okay, and these are the ones that are in your Otis thing. So what is the scariest thing that has ever happened to you? I was embarrassed when. I'll never forget the time. The funniest thing that ever happened to me. I learned an important lesson when. People might be surprised to know. So that is a list. If I was writing this story, this is some of the examples that I use sometimes when doing a narrative, it would be the grossest thing that ever happened to me. And maybe I'll tell you the story sometime, but it's basically about the time when my baby threw up in my mouth. It was terrible, but I can write a humdinger of a story about it. So you're going to think about those things, and then you're going to go over to Otis and put them in. Really quick, if you have like 2 scary things that happened to you, you can write both of those in that column. Okay, or I'll never forget the time. A couple of those in that column. Okay, so you're going to Otis to do that. That is language arts for today. Now, social studies, this is barely filled out, and all we're really doing today is working on the slideshow. So, yeah, that's about it. And I hope you have a great day tomorrow. Your slideshow is due tonight, so please make sure you get it done. And then tomorrow we will be going into Mesopotamia, which is really exciting. It's one of the early civilizations. Okay, I hope you guys had a great weekend. I'm excited to work with you this week, and I hope you all have a beautiful day.